Imagine arguing with somebody who's caused real harm. The kind of person who keeps blowing up their own life and taking pieces of other people with them. And somehow, despite all of that, you still care. You still see the version of them that could be better. But instead of taking responsibility, they tell you that they're the victim. That no one has suffered more from their actions than they have. And suddenly, everything else disappears. The people they hurt, the damage that remains, the consequences that don't end when the apology does. Their pain becomes the center of the room. And you're shocked, trying to understand how someone can acknowledge the harm they've caused and still place themselves at the center of it. Listen to this line that BoJack delivers during the Filbert premiere.
I'm the one who has suffered the most because of the actions of BoJack Horseman.
When people hear this, they often stop listening. It sounds like he's just centering himself, competing with the people he's hurt, or attempting to rewrite the harm that he caused. But if we slow down and examine it, there's far more happening here than defensiveness or ego. And we're gonna try to unpack some of it. What does BoJack mean? BoJack isn't denying that other people were hurt. I think the thing that he's pointing to is a specific type of punishment that he can't step away from. He wakes up every day inside the same mind, fully aware of what he's done and fully aware that he's the common denominator. There's no outside perspective for him, no version of the story where he isn't present. He is both the one who caused the damage and the one forced to sit with it. I think that's the suffering he's talking about, not the worst pain in the room, but the most inescapable. Why does BoJack tell Diane? Diane is a mirror BoJack can't look away from. She doesn't accept his explanations. She doesn't soften the truth for his comfort. She sees through the patterns and names them, even when it hurts. Maybe if he can convince Diane of his pain, it can be validated. If he can convince Diane of his pain, if he can make her see how much this has cost him, then maybe it counts. Maybe it's validated. Maybe it proves that he isn't just careless or cruel, but deeply affected by his own actions. By framing himself as the one who has suffered the most, I don't think he's trying to erase the harm he's caused. I think he's trying to make his pain legible, to have it witnessed or to have someone say, yeah, I see it too. It isn't a claim of innocence. I think it's a plea for recognition, a way of asking, if my pain isn't real to you, does that mean I'm irredeemable? Why is this belief both true and deeply flawed? It's true because BoJack does suffer. Not performatively and not hypothetically, but continuously. There is no distance between him and what he's done, no version of the story he gets to forget. In that sense, his suffering is real. But it is also deeply flawed, because suffering isn't the same as accountability. BoJack mistakes endurance for growth. He believes that because he carries the weight of his actions, he has paid some kind of moral debt, that if it hurts enough, it should count for something. But pain that never turns into change isn't redemption. It's just repetition. His suffering explains him. It does not excuse him. And that's the tragedy at the center of BoJack Horseman. Not that he feels nothing, but that he feels everything and still doesn't know how to become different. There is so much more to BoJack than a single line can represent. So many layers and so many questions that we haven't even touched yet. But this is how I hear him in that moment. This is what I think he's really saying, that he feels the full weight of his actions and he carries it alone. Not because he wants sympathy, not because he's trying to justify himself, but because he has to live inside it. And sometimes that's what suffering really looks like. Seeing yourself clearly, knowing the harm you've caused, and still having nowhere to hide.